Hello. So it's April 30th, 2 days to my mother's birthday, and she will be 88 May 2nd. So just want to touch base on what's I've been noticing going on around the world, and actually where I'm at a little bit too. Decided to make a little more effort in the working world, and that includes the acting and applying for acting. Whether I get the roles or not, who knows? Um, but yeah, all that's involved in that. So even though it's short, I have to get even shorter. I have to go for a groom up before I do some new headshots. Um, Following all my touch on my politics that I always do, following what's going on, and really worried about what's going on down south. There's just the rule of law is becoming a joke. Well, it is a joke now. Not even becoming, it is. Their courts or systems are corrupt, totally corrupt. Not even a little corrupt. Not. I mean, last year was that Clarence Thomas, being found out for all these gifts he's been getting, and his mother's house being paid off, and all these people with control over him. Then his wife was part of the January 6th trying to overtake the government. Instead of a smooth transfer of power, they didn't want Biden to be there, and she was right in there with that. And yet he won't excuse himself for many of the cases that are involved in it, so that he can still have his vote go. And he doesn't say as much anymore, but it doesn't matter. I mean, he probably has the people that are with him on the bench there speaking for him. He probably gives them a few ideas, and then tries to look like he's just sitting in and listening. But he's a vote, right? And it's 9 judges, and 6 are GOP and 3 are Democratic. So um, you know if they're corrupt, it's a problem, because then you get things like the reversal of Roe v. Wade, and the new one is some abortion law from the 1800s. This was literally before the state was a state, um, and women weren't allowed to vote back then either. Like, we're talking a long time ago, and now they're telling that's a good law. We'll go with it, and of course now they're tripping on themselves like they always do. People like Carrie Lake were saying, "Oh, we got this good old law from the 1800s, basically," and now she's like, "Oh, I can't believe they're enforcing that." And then who's the guy? Someone was saying they have the power to get rid of it in the Dems, and why don't they do that? But then of course they've tried 2-3 times now, and GOP holds the majority in the state there, and they keep saying, no, we're keeping it. This is what we want. It's not what their people want. It's like the whole country's like 70% against all this stuff. It's only the diehards, but the diehards hold a lot of the positions, and because of that, because they were not sneaky smart to get in there and control the judges and their state houses. They're voting in stuff that goes against the majority of their own people, and the courts are the same too, right? I mean, nobody wants to really try Trump on the January 6th situation. They don't want. They're going to try to delay it so that he can get into power, and then he can just do away with it altogether and do his retribution. And the newest one is they took an argument up to Supreme, because they take it up when it'll help Trump with delaying these cases, about total immunity. And literally, they were being asked, the hypotheticals to the extremes. Of course, that's, you want to see how far this could possibly go. And then they got asked things like, could he do a coup and say that he's immune? And the lawyer for representing him says, yeah, basically. A coup, killing people. He can kill his rivals, people that are trying to become president. He could just kill them once he's in power. He can stay in power. Who's going to stop him? They might wave their finger and say, you shouldn't be doing this, but they won't be allowed to stop him once he's full immunity is passed. And so there was that. There was selling nuclear secrets to other countries. Oh, well, that could be immune if he wants to do it. He's got total power. What? America, you threw a bunch of tea in the water in Boston to get away from, in that case, the British and of kings and queens, monarchies. And basically, that's what you're doing for this guy. You're giving it all to him. And then they wouldn't talk about the case that was, they took this case up to question what other states have done. But they didn't actually take up what, they were saying, no one's above the law. But they didn't really address it with Trump. They just kept saying, well, we don't talk about the topic that, literally the topic was brought to us. We want to talk about our hypotheticals. So they're saying, well, what would stop a president from being, charged when he gets out if he did anything wrong and he's in? We got to protect the president. It's like, you're willing to protect one man over your whole country, and you've got, 200-year history that has never been that kind of a problem. In fact, the one time there was a real crooked one that maybe could have gotten in trouble, the next guy did pardon him so that it wouldn't even go, so that the country wouldn't have to go through it. That was Nixon. So, all the other situations, all the other presidents you've had accepted the rule of law. This is a rule of law. If I break the law, I better be sneaky about it, because if I get caught, I could be tried. And in your Senate, whatever his name is, I always talk about it. He looks like the frog guy. I can't remember his name. Anyways, he's sitting there, and when oh wow, we don't need to, deal with him in Congress or in the Senate. We don't need to deal with that. Him there. There's laws out there. When he gets out, you guys, he can be legally charged. And now he's being legally charged. It's like, well, maybe he shouldn't be legally charged. He should have been charged first with us. It's like a round circle, right? Can't charge him here. Charge him here. Oh, guess what? We're not going to let you charge him here because you didn't charge him here. You guys literally do the gerbil wheel with your linguistics court diatribes that you do. It's like, what? It doesn't make sense. And that's not the point, is it? I don't know. It's very crazy. The Ukraine money finally went through, thank God. But I mean, they were almost on their last legs. And that's terrible too, because that means a big part of their country wants kind of a, Russia went into Ukraine because they said there was Nazis there, but really they're kind of acting like the Nazis. They're trying to take places, pretending there's Nazis. It's like, what? And the GOP's kind of defending them. Some of them, the MAGA group, the base. I always talk about their base. And their base really is, if you let Russia do that, then of course that helps with Trump getting full immunity, and he can be like a Putin. And on the big picture, I think a lot of the people in America don't seem to realize that it's not good having someone that can just simply take away all your rights, right? Arrest you, can kill you, can put you in jail, can do whatever he wants, and there's no recourse. Like, your rule of law is a good thing for the average person. Now, yes, no one above the law is a joke down there, and yes, there's always going to be, the courts have already layered themselves with their own buddies in there, but also layered the laws. So as long as you have money, you can keep paying to go to this court, go to this court, go back to this court, go up to this court, go back to this court, and then the months go by and the years go by, and they also like to charge from the bottom up, because these guys will think on the next guy, and we'll give him a deal. So all the little guys get charged right away, and a lot of January 6 people have already been to jail and already served their time, and they're already out again, and they still are deciding whether they're going to actually put Trump in a court case. The leader of the whole thing is the last one, the top of the pyramid. So they're trying to make sure that we'll get there with a strong base, but they don't get there. They don't develop it. These people are in and out, and they're not going to say anything at this point. Half of them are already out. They've served their time. Why would they help you now? So, and you just wait too long. Your next election's around the corner. It's November, and we're in May. As of tomorrow, we're in May. So, you're 5 months into this year, and in the 11th month, you're having your election. He's run the clock on all the cases that matter. The only one that's really getting him is the state one. And everyone's mad, Trump is mad. Oh, I can't get a fair trial in New York. Well, he is kind of from New York, and that's where he brags about his kids brag he built the skyline, which he didn't. He got a couple of buildings, but he didn't build a skyline in New York. And, if you're going to talk like that, well, then what about the one in Florida where Cannon's helping Trump's groups help Trump so much that that case is not going forward. And even if it does, even if it eventually goes forward, because maybe he doesn't win the election, so they pushed forward on it. So it'll be another year or 2 or 3 years. At the end of the day, she's staying just in the game, doing everything she can to help him, but not enough to get kicked out. So that at the end of the day, she'll be the one that rules on the actual thing. So even if they can get a jury that in Florida, they're probably not going to convict him. There's going to be one or two that they're going to get to and buy off. And by the way, everyone talks about the jury in New York. And all 12 or 11, however many jury people there are, they all have to do it. If even one doesn't, it's a hung jury. Well, everyone's saying that's why he wants to know who they are when he does actually know who they are now. And I think it's bullet or cash, right? All they have to do is have someone, approach this person behind everyone's back and say, hey, look, we got $5 million for you. Just go along with absolutely everything. And when it comes to the final day where it has to be, just say you don't think there's enough information there for you. You just don't feel comfortable, putting your president in jail. And then that's it. It'll be thrown out and it'll have to go again. And, no one's going to bother. It's going to be obvious that, money will buy it out. It's a lot better than trying to hurt someone or threaten someone and threaten their family. Although that's his style. I think in this case, that would probably not do him well if it did go back to court. They probably would insist that it has to go back. But so if this person just thinks it's a pretty bank account in the Bahamas or something, 5 or 10 years from now they pull it out and nobody really is more aware of it. Anyways, so I'm wondering how this sounds. I didn't keep my headphones on while I did it, so I'm going to stop, put the headphones on, and see if I bored myself even. All right, take care, Danny Campbell. Cheers.